Okay, dear students, today we are going to discuss the chapter title is Risk and Uncertainty. This is one of the important chapter of the performance management ACCA F5. Let's first discuss the theory of the risk and uncertainty according to the notes provided to us. A risk actually means that when we are not confirmed about the future outcomes, means that what we are expecting maybe the actual outcome is different than this. So that when there is high variability in our possible returns, we say that the risk is very high. Okay, if this variability is low, that for example, if I'm expecting 5% and my actual return is 4.5%, so it means that the risk was low, the uncertainty was low. For example, if you're doing a business of we rent some property. Now, in this case, my dear, when we rent our property, the future outcome, which is in shape of the rent, it is known to us and it is certain also. So we can say that there is no risk because there is no variability, no uncertainty among the future outcome. We can say that there is no risk. But on the other hand, if you invest in some project where the returns are not confirmed, sometimes returns are high and sometimes returns are low. In this case, you can see that there are the variability in the return. Now, the high the variability in the return, the high is the risk. Okay, here actually they have explained it with the example because they want to discuss the risk and uncertainty both. So they will differentiate the risk and return in a way when you have some probability about the future outcome. Like for example, if I can say that in this example that company is actually looking for the oil and from the past historical data, there is some probability that 60% chances there that they will find the oil, but 40% chances that they will not find an oil. So when there is some probability to get some return and a probability to get a high or low return, if you have some kind of the probabilities, it means that this comes under the definition of the risk. While uncertainty means that when there are no possible outcomes, you are not certain or uncertain about the future outcomes. Like if we continue the same example, if the oil company is exploring the oil and they don't know whatever is the probability they will get the oil or they will not get the oil. So the difference between the risk and uncertainty is that in the risk you have some probability that the result will be in your favor or result will be not in your favor. While in uncertainty, you don't know about there is no any probability, you don't know about the future outcome. Okay, my dear, in this chapter, we are going to discuss the expected value, the risk behavior of we'll discuss the expected value, and we will discuss the risk behavior of investor. By expected value actually we means the average return. When investor make a decision, he consider the average return. Of course, high average return is preferable. High average return is preferable. Now, to find this average return, we are actually using the concept of the expected value. The formula for the expected value is that simply an average. For this, my dear, what we do, we sum up probability of the returns multiply by given returns. I'm going to Let me show you an example. For example, if I invest in two companies, one firm name is A and one firm name is B. For example, for the first time, this company give me 5% return and then 3% return, and then let's suppose it give me 2% return. While the company give me, let's suppose the return that is 3% and 2%. Okay, I invest some portion of amount here and some portion in B. Now, my dear, I have two ways to calculate the average return. What will be my average return for this given time period? One way is that one way of average is that we simply what we do we calculate the average return by just sum of the returns and divide it by the number of observations. Let me do it here. For example, my returns are 5%, 3%, 2%, and then again 3% and 2%. One way of average is that you sum up all the returns, okay, and then you divide it by the number of observations. This is the sum of return. The number of observation is how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 observation. So we can now calculate the average return. Sum of returns divided by the average return. Now the average return shows that we can earn 3% if we invest in this two company. The historical data show us. So this is the one way to calculate the average return. Now, my dear, we can use the expected values in for also to calculate the average return. But for this, my dear, we need actually the probability. Okay, we need the sum of the probability into returns. Now, how to calculate using the same data? Now, my dear, you can see that we have invested. If I calculate all the times, so I have invested 5 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, out of this, 3 times I invest in the firm A and 2 times I invest in the firm B. So I can calculate the weightage, how much I invest in the A and B. Out of 5 times, I invest 3 times in company A. So I have invested 60 times into company A and I have invested 40 times in company B. Now, what is the average return of the company A? Again, I can find average return by this way. Sum up all of this and then divide it by number of observation, which is 3. So this is the average return if I invest in company A, and the average return you can find average directly by the Excel, the formula also. So the average return of the company A is 3.3%, while company B is 2.5%. Now, if I'm using the expected value approach to find the average return, what I have to do, I have to multiply probability with the average return, okay, of the company 1, and I have to add it, the expected value multiplied by the average return. You can see, my dear, the return by using the expected value or by the average return, it is same. So the expected value is a way to calculate the average return if you have some probability or a weight given. If it is not given, my dear, then you can calculate it by simply sum of all and then divide it by number of observation. Okay. So now we learned that if I want to find the expected value, what value should I have? I should have the probability value and I should have the average return. Okay. In this case, 60% was the company A and B was 40%. The expected return of A was 0.03 and B was 0.025. So what we have to do first, we need to multiply by P probability into return. This is probability into return of the company A and probability into return of company B. And now I need to simply sum up it, which is 3%. Okay. So expected value is actually a technique which we use to calculate the expected return. Now this is the formula expected value. What we do, we multiply probability with the return and then we sum up it simply. Okay. Second thing, my dear, this is the one of the example. You can see that the company returns from a new restaurant depend on the weather conditions. And it sorry depend on the whether competitors decide to open in the same area. The following estimates are given. Competitors open up. There is 30% chance of yes and 70% chance of the no. The project returns are expected that if competitors open there, then return will be negative, which is loss. And if no competitor, there is 70% probability there will be no competitor, so then we can earn 20,000. So how can I calculate the expected value? If I invest in this project, both could be happen, either yes or the other no. But the probability of the yes is only 30%, so I multiply 0.3 with the return and then 70% with the return if this is the case. So my expected return, average return is 11,000. Okay. Now, my dear, the second important thing which we need to know in this chapter, that is to calculate the payoff table. Payoff table actually means that we in this case we have different scenario. You can see that we have two different scenario. Either we will lose, probability is 30%. Either we will earn where there is a 70%. So there are two different scenarios. What we do in the payoff table, we are given with the different scenarios and with the different expected returns. So we actually in payoff table calculate the all possible expected profit and loss within the given scenarios. It will be more easy if we can do one exercise. Okay, but before going to that exercise, let's understand the priority of the investors. Now, the investor actually prefer less risk and high return. This is the rational behavior that investor prefer low risk and high return. But my dear, there is a trade-off between the risk and return. If you're going for high return, you have to take high risk also. Now the people are different in the market. Some of the people are risk averse, some of the people are the risk taker, some people are risk taker. They believe to take high risk for high return. Some people are major risk averse. They don't prefer risk. Now they will of course get take low risk, the returns will be also low. It is expected. Some people are risk neutral, the moderate risk taker. They don't prefer too much high risk and too much low risk. They used to take the average risk for average return. So these are the different behavior of the investors. Now we are going to calculate that if I have the different possibility of the, I will calculate from the payoff table. On the different scenarios, I have different possibility. Somewhere the return is very high, and if return is high, so risk will be also high. In some cases, the returns are low, but risk are also low. So how, my dear, we will work with these strategies? Which should be the priority of the risk taker? From the payoff table. Which should be the priority of the risk averse people from the payoff table? Now let's discuss the strategies with example. Okay, let's first learn it. Maximax, these are the people who are the risk taker. They will prefer to get high return, the maximum return. They will select the scenario where the returns are high to achieve the best result if the best happens. If the best happens, because the risk is also there. If the best doesn't happen, they will make the loss. The max minimum. These are the people. Let me write it here. These people follow which strategy? Maxi max. They work for the maximum. They want to maximize their return. Now, the risk averse are the people. You can see from even here, maximin. You can see maximin means that these are the people who do not prefer the maximum risk, so they actually want to maximize their minimum return. The minimum possible return, they want to maximize it because they were not interested in taking the high risk. Similarly, my dear, for the third one, we have the strategy, we call it mini max regret rule. Let me copy it directly from here. Mini max regret. These are the, my dear, people who want to minimize their maximum regret. No, with the exercise, I would be more in a position to explain it to you people, but at least you should memorize this, that these are the different strategies of the investor behavior. Okay, the risk taker follow the maximax, the risk averse follow the maximin, and the people who are neutral about the or moderate risk taker, they have actually prefer the mini max regret rule. Let's create a scenario and then we can solve all these strategies. Okay, there is an example that a person start a business. He start a vegetable and want to sell the vegetable. The purchase price per case is 20, while the selling price is 40. You can see that the margin is almost 100%. The product is perishable and it is not possible to store. Okay, so the product, because he is selling vegetable and he doesn't have the facility to store it. So if the products doesn't sell on a day, then there is no option to store it. In this case, he will be then going to sell out the vegetable on the scrap value, which is $2 per case. So if he is not able to sell on $40, maybe the people don't buy it in the day, then he is supposed to sell out all. It's only $2 per case. So instead of getting nothing, it's better to get something. The purchase order must be made before the number of sales is known. He has kept a record of demand over the last 150 days. So he gathered the data of the 150 days and he calculated that there are 45 days. He took the data of the 150 days. Okay. Let me start it here. So the example is that he took the data of the 150 days. He found that out of this 150 days, 45 days data shows that there was Demand per day was, let's suppose if I make it like it's given in case, so 10 cases were sold on one day, 45 days shows. 75 days data shows that 20 cases were sold out into the market per day. And 30 days data shows that 30 cases were sold out into the market. So the whole scenario is that if I can revise it for you people, let me make it like this. The buying price is 20. The selling price is 40. And the scrap value is $2. This information is given. Okay, we have three different scenarios. 45 days, the demand was 10. Even I can calculate probability from here. What is the probability to sell out? I can calculate a probability that. How to calculate the probability? Again, the given value divided by the total value. In the previous example, what I did, the given value was 3 and the total was 5. So here you can see that the total days are, if I add it, this is the 150. Okay, out of the 150, 45 days, which is in percentage 80%. The data show that the 80% from the previous data that the demand for the case was 10. He sold out 10 cases. And now you can see out of the 150, 75 days means 50% data shows 50% data shows that there is a chance that we can sold out 20 cases. And you can see that there is 20% chance that we can solve out the 30 cases on one day. So this is how we calculate the probability. Now let's come to the questions requirement. What are the requirements? This is the information given. Okay. The requirement is given that prepare a summary of possible daily profits using payoff table. The very first requirement is that to make the payoff table. What does the payoff table means? Payoff table means that all possible scenarios. Okay, here if for example, if I can make like this, that I have three different options now. Either I should invest only $40 and just buy 20 cases on this day. If this is the case, if I buy the 10 cases, you can see that if this is the case, I can sold out all the 10. But if this is the case on that day and I only invest $20 for $20 means that I only buy 10 cases, so then I'm going to lose the opportunity here. Otherwise, there is no loss. I can sell out 10 cases and I'll go to home early, but I could not earn the additional. Even if this is the day 30, I can again sold out all the 10 because I have only invested 10. I can again go early to the home. I will lose the opportunity, but there is no any loss. Okay. Now let's calculate the payoff table. Payoff table means that profit and loss with each given scenario. If this is the case, 10. How to calculate the profit? Profit means that total cost and minus total. Calculate the total cost and total revenue. How we calculate the profit? Total revenue minus total cost. If my dear this is the case, the 10, how much it will cost me? If I buy the 10, price of buying price is 20, so my cost is 200. Okay, what will be my total revenue if this is the day? If this is the case, okay, I can sold out 10 cases at the rate of 40. The price is 40. So what is my profit? Total revenue minus total cost. My profit is 200. So I can write here that I can earn 200 in this case. Then assume that this is the scenario. Again, how much I buy? I buy 10 by paying 20. No doubt the demand is 20, but I only purchase 10, so I cannot sell more than 10. So again, my revenue will be same. So that's why again my profit is total revenue minus total expense. The profit is again 200. Same is the case even if I buy 10 and on that day the demand is 30. Again, I will be my cost will be 10 multiplied by 2, and now the 10 multiplied by 40. I cannot sell more than this one. So in all the cases, my profit and loss is 200. You can see that in this case, there is no any chance of the loss. Of course, the minimum I can sell out, that is the 10. So that's why I'm buying the minimum. But we will learn that which if means this is the person who is risk averse. We will learn in this technique also that this person is going to select this option. The reason is that there is no any chance of loss and profit. Now let's suppose the second scenario. Okay. Now if the person decided that I'm going to buy the 20, okay, now I'm calculating the profit for the second scenario. If he decide to buy 20, how much he's going to invest? He's going to invest 20. This is his total cost. Now what will be his its revenue? This is the case. If this is the case that the demand is only 10, so he can get 10 multiplied by what is the sale price? 40, plus he is still left with the 10 cases. On this day he can only sell out the 10 cases, so he is left with the 10 cases. So the rest of the 10 cases, my dear, he can sell only on the scrap value. The scrap value is, okay, he will get 400 from the 10 sales. Okay, the rest of the 10 is left because he decided to buy to invest more. He buy 20 cases, so the rest of the 10 he is actually buying selling on the scrap value. So his total revenue is 420. Now in this case, his profit will be 20 only. He will be earning only 20. He earned 200 from here, but my dear, he sold out the 10 on only, which he purchased on the 20. So in the last 10 cases, he make a loss of the 18 each. He buy on 20, and the last 10 he's selling on. That's why, my dear, his profit is decreased from 200 to 10. Now you can see that this approach is little bit risky than the 10, this first case. Okay. So similarly, you can calculate for the second case. Let me do it in the here. Again, the total cost will be 20 if he invests. No, by the, on this day, the demand was good. He sold out all of the 20. Nothing was remaining in the scrap value. So he sold out all the 20. Now this is a good day for this guy. So the total revenue is 800 and the total cost is 400. So he make the profit of the 400. Okay. If this is the case, my dear, that he buy the 20, but the demand was 30. He can go early to the home by selling 20. He don't have the extra to sold out. So again, his profit will be 400. So you can see that this one is the second case is a bit risky than the first one. Okay, but you can see that then in by taking this extra risk, he may get extra return also. He may get 400 versus 200. If the day is like this, again he's earning more. But he can lose also if this is the day. Third case, my dear, let's suppose he decided that the data shows that 50% probability is there. Sorry, the 20% probability is there that we can sold out 30 cases also. So my dear, he invest by the 30 cases. So what is the price? He decided to buy 30, the buying price is 20, so he invests 600. No matter if this is the day that he buy today 30, but he was only able to sell out 10. Now you can imagine the revenue. He sold out 10 at the rate of 40. The rest of the 20 he will sold out this onto the scrap value, which is 20. So for the rest of the 20, he make a loss of 18 each. Now, if I calculate its total profit, you can see that his cost is 600, but he's earning only 440. So there is the minus 160 loss. This is, my dear, the meaning of the payoff table. Okay, this is the meaning of the payoff table that you calculate the profit and loss. You calculate the profit and loss within each given scenario. Okay, with each given scenario. Now, when they come to the second case, he invests 80. At this day, he sold out only 20. The demand was 20. So the cost will remain same. Okay. He sold out first 10 on 40. Sorry, the demand 20. Okay. He sold the first 20 on 40. And the rest of the 10 he left with, he sold out in the scrap value. Means that in the last 10 cases, he make the loss of the 18. But in his first 20, he make the profit of the 40. The 20 for each. So in this case, my dear, his profit is 220. Okay. Now you can see that his profit is, let me, 20 into 40 years and the rest of 10 years. Okay. Now if the case is the that he buy the 30 and he sold out the 30, if this is the day, let's suppose he was lucky enough that on that day people come to the market and buy all of the 30. There is no nothing on scrap value. No, if this is the case, my dear, his maximum profit is 600. You can see, my dear, in this case, the last one, the maximum return out of all the option, you can see that this is the highest return. So this you can earn the highest return if you buy the 30. But my dear, there is a chance that you may lose 160 also. Okay, so no doubt, if this is the day, you are among the best. But if this is the day, then you will lose 160 instead of earning 20 or 2200. So even without doing the calculations, I can find out that this is the option for the risky guy, risk taker, and this one is the less risky option. This is the low risky guy, and this one is the moderate. But my dear, we will learn this by the techniques Maximax, Minimax, and then the, the regret also, the third option. Okay, so the first requirement was to calculate the possible daily profits using payoff table. So we have done that. Now this is the requirement number one. We calculate the possible return on the different scenarios. If we have two scenarios, so there will be six options. 2 into 3 6. If we have three scenarios, we will be having nine options. If we have four scenarios, we will be having accordingly 4, 4, 16 like this. So we have now nine different options because of the given three scenarios. So this was the requirement number one. Okay, now the okay requirement number two said that how many cases to purchase if he uses the expected values. Okay. Now the question is that if the person is going to decide on the basis of the expected value, as I mentioned here that the high expected value or high average return is of course preferable. Now I need to calculate the possible expected value within all these given scenarios, and then I have to select that which one is the more preferable. Okay. Now the formula for the expected value. Let's see first this one. And if I buy the 10, okay, the expected profit is 200 if this is the case. What was the probability of the 10? The probability was the 80% chances there that I will earn 200. Okay, and then again expected value, the probability is 50% for this case. If I buy 10 and the demand is 20, and 20% chance if I make these decisions that 200. Now this is the, if you remember, I show you here that how we can calculate the expected value. You simply multiply probability by the return and then add up it. So I multiply here the probability with the given profit. Okay, now I'm going to plus it all. So if this is the case, my dear, the expected value is the average return is, my dear, 200. If this is the case, if I invest 20, now my expected, what is the probability? There is 30% probability that this scenario will happen, that I will be able to sell 10. If I sell 10, my profit is 20. Okay. If I can do it quickly, let's again probability 50 multiply by 400. You can see probability multiply by this. Now, if this is the case, my dear, my expected value is to sum up all 286. So I told you that highest possible. So far it's better to select the 20. If a person is deciding on the expected value, so far this is better because you can earn more than the first one. Let's now calculate for the 30. There is 30% chance that I will lose the $160, and there is 50% chance that I will earn 220, and there is 30% chance that I will earn 600. So the expected value is 182. Now, my dad, you can see that, as I told you that if you are going to make a decision based on the expected value, so this one is the highest one. This one is the highest one. Okay, so this is the requirement number B. if you want to make a decision based on expected value, so you are going to select this option that you will buy the 20, invest in 20, okay, and your expected return will be 286. Let's come to the requirement numbers. Next one, how many cases to purchase if he uses Maximin and the Maximax option? Okay, it's very easy. The requirement is that if a person make a decision based on Maximax, if you remember, I told you that this is the person, the Maximax, who is a risk taker. Okay, who is a risk taker. And even without doing calculation, I told you that this option is one of the risky option. But my dear, here the values are very small. You can decide it. Otherwise, it will be maybe not easy for the people. But let's do it from this. Now, my dear, I'm going to teach you one technique that you can see that these are the two words, maximax. This is the actually maximum of the maximum. Okay, the maximum return of the maximum. What we need to do is that we need to start it from the right hand. The first word is maximum. Okay, this is the first word from the right hand side. What we have to do, my dear, among the given options, these are the three scenarios. First step is that to select the maximum value. Now, in this case, the maximum value is 200. In this case, the maximum value among the profit is 400. And then the maximum value among this case is the 600. So first step is to read it from the right hand side, you found the maximum. Now the second word is maxi. Now you have what you have to do among this maximum value, you have to select the maximum. This is the maximum return from the given three options. You have to select the maximum value from the given options. In this case, my dear, if I see that, which one is the maximum? The 600 is the maximum. So according to this strategy, if the investor is a risky person, he want to follow this approach, he should invest in this case. So if you read the requirement is that how many cases to purchase if he use the maximum. Okay, first we did this one. We have done this one, maximax. We are supposed to calculate this one also. I'm coming to this one also. So this requirement is done, maximax. Okay, you're going to decide that this is the good option for me because you can earn the maximum return, but don't forget that there is a chance of loss also. Okay, there's 30% chance of loss also, but this is how investors behave. The second option is that maximin. Now I told you that this is approach maximin. This is used by the less risky people, the risk averse people. Okay? Even without doing calculations, we can say that in this case there is no chance of loss, but you can see the return is maximum return is only 200. So this is the more suitable option. But let's do it. Again, read it from the right hand side. Now let me rough this one. There are two. This is maximum. Two words. First one is minimum. First, what you have to do, select minimum from the payoff table with the given three option. What is the minimum value in this case? It is 200. What is the minimum value in this case? It is 20. And what is the minimum value in this case? In third case, it is 1 minus 160. Now first we select the minimum value. You can see that first we select minimum. Among this minimum returns, we should select the maximum value. Among these three, which one is the maximum? 220 or 160? 200 is the maximum. Now if you are a risk averse, then strategy show you that you should go for the option first, which is to buy only 10. Okay, this is a technique where you can learn that you need to maximize your minimum return. Okay, the minimum, you need to maximize your minimum return, which is in this case 200, and that is in the case one. Let's check the, so this two is done. Okay, now the third case is that how many cases to purchase if he uses the mini max regret. Mini max regret, which is used by the people who are mm, moderate in risk taking. Let me first let us first understand the meaning of regret. Regret means that I can call it opportunity lost. For example, there are two projects. Project A, invest in project A. Let's suppose it give you 9% return. And there is project B. Suppose if you invest in this project B, that it can give you the 12% return. My dear, if you have invest in project A, if you invest in project A, you actually lost the opportunity. You lost the opportunity to earn 3% more. What does this 3% more means? That you earn 12%, but you earn 9% because you invest in the project A. So you lose the 3% because you invest into the project A. Otherwise, you could earn the 2%. This, my dear, 3% which you could earn but you didn't earn is called an regret. This 3% is your regret, the opportunity loss. Okay, the maximum which you can earn, you didn't earn. There is no loss. I didn't say that you make the loss. You earn the 9%. Okay, you earn the 9%. You didn't make any loss, but you could earn 12% if you invest in the project B. So when you will be having, in this case, we have three different scenarios, uh, 10, 20, and 30, and we have payoff table show us that we can earn sometime 200 or sometime 20, or sometime maybe we lost 160, or maybe sometime we earn 600. So we need to calculate the regret in each of the case. And then, my dear, read it from the left side. First case is that to calculate the regret, and then calculate the maximum regret. What we have to do, we have to minimize our maximum regret. Okay, for example, if I give another example here, let's suppose there is project C. In project C, the return is, let's suppose, 14%. Now we have two regret here. One is 3% if you invest in project A, and one is now 5%. If I invest in A, I could not earn 14%, so my regret is 5%. What we need to do, my dear, we we are supposed to minimize our maximum regret. This is the maximum regret. We first calculate the regret, and then the maximum regret is the 5%. Okay. What we do, we need to minimize our maximum regret. This is what we are going to learn in this technique. Okay, now let's come to the of table. Of table is actually a base for the mini maximum and maximum regret. In this case, my dear, we need to calculate the regret. Let me to make it easy, if we do like this. In each case, let me calculate the regret and get some space for the regret. I'm giving a different color that it should be clearly visible. Let's suppose. Let me make it red. You can see first I calculate the regret and then we can continue. So let me start it like this. If this is the case, my dear, okay, if this is the case, that okay, and we sold out, for example, on that day, we invest 10. Okay, if on that day the demand is 10, so my profit is 200. Okay, if on the same day if I purchase the 20, I could earn 20. Okay, otherwise I can earn, otherwise there will be a loss of the 30. Okay, it's taking time, so I can show it from here also. The I have solved it here also. Let me do it for the people. So the maximum return here is 200. Okay, the maximum return is here 200. For example, if this is the case, what will be my regret? I could earn 200, but I select this option, so I can only earn 20. So my regret is 180. Now I'm feeling regret that if I invest in this one, this is the maximum return. Maximum return is 200. In these three cases, if I select the first one, there is zero regret. But in the second scenario, if I buy the 20 on that day, so I could earn 180. Sorry, I could earn 20 and my regret is 180. I will be saying that I wish I could buy only 10. Okay, so this is my regret. In the third case, my regret will be very high. Because if I select this option, I could at least get 20, but here I am getting 200 minus 160. 360 is the maximum regret. No matter, this is the regret, three different regret. If this is the case, I could earn 200. If I compare with all of this, this is the highest one. So it means that this is a good option for me. There will be zero regret. But if I chase 20 on this day, I can only earn 20. So I'm feeling not happy. I could earn 200 instead of the 20. In this case, my dear, I lose 160. I could even earn 200. So my regret is 360. Now, among these three, this is the maximum. Here, my regret is zero if this is the option. Maximum is 400. My regret is here zero. But on the same day, when I was able to sold out 20, if I buy the 10 items, and as the day was 20, my profit was at this day 200. Okay. So my maximum, my regret is here 200. Now I feel that it was better to, in this case. Okay, in first case this was the best option. My regret was zero. But in this case, my dear, now I feel that if I could decide and buy for the second option, I could earn 400 instead of 200. In this case, my regret is 200. Now in the third case, my regret is 180. Now I will be feeling that like I wish that I could not go for this option because I could earn 220 here. This option was far better. Here I have the regret of 180. So among these three, here is the zero regret. In the rest of the cases, we have the regret. Now same find regret for the option. Highest value is 600. If I go for the option 1, I could earn only 200. So I could earn 400 more, but I didn't earn because I make this decision on this day. So my regret is 400. Similarly, if I go for the second option, I could earn, my profit could be 400. So my regret will be 200. And this one is the best option where there is no regret. So first step is, my dear, calculate the regret. Why? Again, my dear, the rule is that I told you that start from the right hand side. First word is regret. Now this is calculated. Now the second word is maximum. Third step is minimum. So we calculate the regret. Now we are supposed to approach to the second word, which is maximum. Among all these three regret, we have to select the maximum value. I'm selecting the maximum value from the regret. Okay, I told you the second word is maximum. So in this case, in 10, what is the maximum value? The maximum value, see the red value, the regret value only. The maximum is 400. This one. Among this option, the maximum value is 200. In this option, the maximum value is, maximum regret is 360. So now we got the regret, and this is the maximum regret. Okay. Now the third step is that the third word is the minimum. What we have to do, first regret, then maximum. Now the minimum value among this maximum regret. Okay, I'm adding the third word now. The minimum value among this regret. Now among these three, the minimum value is 200. Okay, so if you are, my dear, a moderate kind of the investor, you don't go for too much risk. So the best option for you is go for the option. And if you remember, I told you in the beginning that it's very clear from, even because these are the small values, that these are the less risky people, these are the high risky people, and these are the moderate people. They don't earn too much, but earn better than this one, earn less than this one. But here you can see that there is a somehow risk. They have earned less than this one. They were better than this one because they didn't make a loss. So, my dear, this is how we actually go for the three investment strategies based on the behavior of the investor. Let's go for the requirement number 4. Requirement number 4 is that Mr. is actually approaching a research associates to provide him with a more reliable estimate of his future demand and advise Mr. what maximum price he should pay to gain this reliable information. Okay, actually there was the probability 30%, 50%, and then 20%. Now, that's why among all this given scenario, he found that the expected value, his expected return was, if you remember, it was 286, the highest one. Okay, if you see that the expected return was 86, highest one among this given option, that's why this person selected this option. Now, these are the information which are not perfect based on probability. Okay, in requirement number 4, what he is actually going to do, he is actually approaching a consultant and he's going to pay them to give them the perfect information. Give them the perfect information. And what should, if I got the perfect information, then what should be my average return, like the, let's suppose the expected value or the average return. Okay, now this is the actually the 286 value is, this is the value without the perfect information. This is the value without perfect information. Okay, this is value is based on the expected value with the probability. There could be a loss also. While this one, he actually no one that if I got the perfect information, then what should be the expected return? Now, my dear, in this case, you see that the perfect information is that there are three different options. The perfect information is that there are 45 days on which you can sold out 10 cases only. There are 75 days on which you can sold out 20 cases only. And there are 30 days on which you can sold out 30 cases only. No matter if I have the perfect information, what I should do, I should buy the 10 on this 45 on this particular days, and 20 on the 75 days, and 30 on the 30 days. Okay, my dear, so if they get the perfect information, then what will be the expected return? So the perfect information is that, let me do like, if I copy it directly from here, that okay. Now this is the perfect information. Okay. On this day, I should buy 10. Okay. And on this day, I should buy only 20. And on this day, I should only buy 30 products. Now, if my decision is like this, that again, I have to calculate the expected value. For that, I need the profit or return. Okay. If I buy 10 on this particular day, I can earn 200. If I buy 20 on this particular day, I can sold out 20. So I can earn 400. And if I buy 30 on this particular day and I sold out 30, the perfect information tell me that you can earn 600. Okay. Again, I'm repeating this one. Why I selected 200? Because if I buy 10, if I have the perfect information, my decision on this day will be to buy only 10. And if I buy the 10, I can earn the profit of the 10. Now, if the perfect information is that buy 20 today, because this particular day, the expected demand is the 20. So I will buy 20. And if I buy 20 on this day, I can sold out all the 20 and can earn 40. Now, my dear, I can, what I have to do, probability multiplied by return. Okay, now my expected value is, what is the formula for expected value? Sum of all. Okay, now my dear, this is the average return if I have the perfect information. Okay, if I have the perfect information, my average return will be 380. Okay, 380. Okay, my dear, now the question is that how much should I pay to get this perfect information? What maximum price he should pay to get this reliable information? No matter if I have this reliable information, I can earn 380. Otherwise, if I do the analysis with a given probability, I can earn 286. Now, what is the, my dear, how to calculate the value of information in accounting? If I calculate it by this way, that the formula is that the expected value of the expected return with perfect information, then minus expected return without perfect information. If I calculate this value of the information, the answer is 380 minus 86, which is equal to 380 minus 286, 94. What does this answer show, my dear? Now, this is the maximum value which you can pay for this information. But if you pay the 94, you can even earn without this information, you can earn the 286. If you pay them the 94, you will be getting, what will be the profit you're getting? You're getting 380. I think then there is no need even to pay them the 94 if you're getting the 380, because you're already earning this 286. What you have to do? You have to do the bargaining and try to convince less than this price. This is the maximum price which you should pay for this information. For example, let's suppose that if I pay them the 50, okay, 86 I can maximum earn, plus I pay them the 50 instead of the 94, 286 plus 50, 336. Still, it is a good option, because if I pay this 50, I can make this return the 380. Okay. I can still earn this 380. So even if I pay the 50, it means that 336 versus 380. Still, it's a good option, but don't pay more than this. Okay, it's better to pay less than this. So this is actually, my dear, the way you calculate the price you should pay for this information to get the maximum return based on the perfect information. Hopefully this will help you. Thank you so much.